CD, or is that?
Yeah,
okay.
I had it up to show them.
Oh, good, good.
If you look at the front of the book, on VI, right here. One eye, not two.
6.
6.
Roman numeral 6.
So if you look at the unit, so look at Unit 1, it tells you vocabulary is the countries. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that because we don't have much time in class. But under listening, it shows you what you're to focus on. On speaking and pronunciation, it tells you what to focus on. Those are your content standards. Grammar, and then it shows you life skills. Make that as fast as you can, okay? Because for time, we have some things similar to that for our read and respond. And we'll talk about that some more. If you'll notice, there's persistence activities. If you have time, if we get to have 2 hours with the same students, some of those exercises are really advantageous for our students. So, and then the other thing I wanted to show you was how it correlates. So turn to 7, VII. It shows the correlations to reading. So even though we are using the low intermediate book, it's middle ground, but look at all of them by the time they get through advanced or high intermediate, because we don't have advanced, they will have covered all of those competencies for CASAS.
You mean XII?
Yes.
12, yeah.
Oh,
extra
12.
obvious.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, 12.
XII should forget
XII.
alphabet.
I don't know my X's and V's, sorry.
Don't blame me. Next is 2 V's.
We're trying to teach her, but you know.
I'm slow, stubborn. So our plan is, now it's not fully implemented, it's not fully developed, and we were focusing on first 8 weeks, second 8 weeks, and hopefully we'll get to spring. But, no, we will. But our plan is when you start hitting low intermediate, we'll start pulling in some of the high intermediate book, because a lot of these lessons build on each other. So my favorite example is the interview. So like in Debbie's class, they just talk about a job interview. She teaches high beginning. In my low intermediate class, we talk about legal and illegal interview questions. And then in high intermediate, they have more questions. So we can pull some of that in and make low intermediate a little meatier. And then when they get to high intermediate, we'll pull in some of the advanced book. Okay?
Okay, so we start with book 3. Okay. I think I taught book 4 when I used this book before.
Okay.
So that sounds right.
All right.
I've done this book before too, though. I believe.
It's a good book. You know, it has the listening. We'll make sure that all of you, if you don't have the listening CD with it, or it's called the Interactive Teach CD, you can download that on your desktop. There is also an interactive practice. So if you look at, Debbie, where's the first interactive practice?
Go to number 2, day 2, practice plus CD, where it says lesson 3.
Uh-oh, it's giving me a fit.
Oh, right here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right here.
Oh, is that it?
Inner practice activities.
Yeah, it makes little music sounds. And,
Twinkling stars.
yes.
Mm.
Okay, there, yeah, go to unit 1. Go to lesson 3.
So on this one, you could project it on the CD. Can you see that? Do I need to, let me enlarge. So you could project this for your students and have them either in groups or as a class collectively try to decide what should go in the blank, and it has a pull-down box.
Cool.
And so they could decide as a class. You could do it like, we want to spice up our lessons. You know, because of our retention rates, we're losing so many students. So you could divide the class in half and have a relay race or something to make them excited about it, and let them decide which one it would be. Okay, so that's one example on the interactive CD. I will either have them on thumb drives, or it depends on the budget and what they allow, but I'll either have it on a thumb drive or I will get IT to put it on your desktop, so you'll have it readily accessible.
Or if they have, if they have the book, they have the CD, it's here in the back.
Just plug it in.
And you just put that in and
Yeah.
it pops.
And it does
Yeah,
this.
it
Yeah.
does. Yeah, this is running off of a CD.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Not
called-
all of the books come with CDs, so I just,
Yeah,
yeah, but it is in the back of the book.
but any of those that say the activity, it's practice plus CD, that's where it's coming
Okay.
from.
The back of the book.
So this is a silly question. Will we still continue to use the workbooks or?
Okay, so the
Good
85
question.
books I was able to order, they will have the workbooks with them.
Okay.
But really pick and choose what homework you want to give. You can copy 10% of the book without breaking copyright laws, but every time you put your code in, they know how many copies you're making. So you have some leniency, but you can't abuse it. So really pick.
Can we not have the students order their own workbooks?
Yeah, if the students want to order their own, they
And
can.
I wonder if there's any available in the bookstore still?
No, Matthew sent them all back.
Okay.
Matthew had found some nice books for reading and writing, and then speaking and listening, but they were way over budget. So we had to scale back tremendously.
So they'll have to find them at other sources.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
I don't know.
Debbie, anything else
I like
about the
buying
chart?
my own books. I could
Get
get
them
mine
from-
in that.
Okay, so when you see,
Oh, the other thing, all this over here is stuff that's still being worked on, this read and respond and these speed sentences, so that's not left blank intentionally, it's just still being, it's a work in progress.
Okay.
but here's an example of a speed sentence. So when you give out, and again, this is wording.
Gotta get Molly something.
When it's the last one, I'll remember it.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Ice cream.
So,
Can we bring real examples?
this is like what GED does. They do speed sentences, so when students leave ESL and go to HSE, it's the same. When they say you're going to do speed sentences, they know what it is already. It also gives you an opportunity. The grammar in these books, I think, is not very deep. It gives you a chance to focus in on nouns a little bit more. Okay? So that's an example of what speed sentences are.
So, do we make these up ourselves, or you?
No,
guys-
I'll
no,
supply them.
yeah.
If you want to make some up and share, you
Oh,
can.
yeah.
They will. Yeah,
But-
okay.
We'll pass them out to you or email them to you or something like that. This is a read and respond.
Thank you.
So our goal is, because everything is supposed to be contextualized, we're using, a lot of the book talks about jobs and job opportunities, so that's contextualized.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Partly.
I didn't know that.
So some, just partly.
This is
So
that read and respond that's on there.
this is read and respond. I don't want to leave you out. So what we will do with the lower levels is we're going to have read and responds that fit the 3 different communities. So like this one works with business. And then we have another read and respond that was for
Industrial technology.
industrial technology. And then we'll have another read and respond for healthcare. Okay? So through your read and responds, that part will be contextualized for our students. Okay? And this is where we're going to focus on reading and vocabulary in that second hour. Okay? Do you have questions about that?
And these will be provided for us also.
They will be provided. Unless you're feeling overzealous.
I don't normally feel that way.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I'd hate for you to miss an opportunity that you're itching for.
That's my sister, it's not me.
So all of the read and responds are going to be contextualized. Our book is sort of contextualized, being that it talks about a lot of job opportunities, applying for a job. In one level we do resumes. But for the most part, contextualization will come through our read and response. Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay, remember that the syllabus is a rough draft. Expect some changes as we add in our contents. I told you about contacting your returning students, and we need definite answers. So if they're coming on the 26th, Keegan needs their names by the 19th.
My group, we wouldn't expect that many returning from my level, would we?
Probably not. Maybe some of them. And make sure you let your students know that they're all going to High Beginning. It's a program-wide decision, so they need to know that they're going to High Beginning. So if they're in High Intermediate, they might say, oh, no, I'm in High Intermediate. And you need to say, no, it's across campus. We're filling in our learning gaps. Really spin it in a positive way. I do think it's a great idea just because our test scores weren't phenomenal. We had some gains, but considering we had them in class for 4 hours, it should have been way better. Okay? And when you look in teams, a lot of the problem is not keeping our students past 12 hours, so that counts against us. So those students who come for a few days and then they quit, that counts against us. So we really want to work on our student retention, and one way we're going to do that is through Avid. So did any of you bring your Avid books? I have 3 here.
I don't know, I have talked to her
Some
on the
of you
phone.
don't have
She may
them.
have not told us.
So Avid is I'm sorry, I've got my notes in there. Avid, oh, you have yours?
Yeah, she,
Okay. So Avid, for those of you who have never done Avid, it is a hands-on, let's get our hands dirty approach to teaching. It's a fun way to teach. You know, everything they do in here has high student engagement, and I think if we do more of this, rather than having our students just listen to us for an hour, they'll want to come back, okay? And it's proven that students learn better in groups rather than alone. So we want to try to pull away from the lecture series and do some of this hands-on. I want to give you a few minutes to, Melanie, you've done Avid before, right, on East Campus?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just, Martha and Angie, do you want to join over here? Because all of these people have done Avid. And I'd like for you to take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, look through the book and find some strategies that you like or that you have used and share them with each other. We want to use Avid at least once a week. If we can do it more, that's great, but at least once a week. You'll notice on your schedule of learning that we have 3 different Avid strategies. There's mingle bingo, team paddle, and minute papers. So talk about what those are, what kinds of activities those are. That's just a rough draft, kind of in the field.